When I was younger, I would go to my local art museum and I would stop and stare at this painting of a young girl, and she was about the same age that I was at the time, about 11 or 12, and she had dark hair and she had light skin, and I would look up at that painting and just see myself. And I loved it. I loved seeing this life-size portrait of someone who looked just like me. So I saw myself in characters and people I saw and read about, people in books and plays and TV shows and movies and commercials. My criteria was always the same. It was always dark hair and light skin and female. And this included characters like Belle, like Snow White, like Mulan and Pocahontas even. And these characters influenced how I saw myself. And not just visually, but in things that I could accomplish. So if she could do it, why couldn't I do it? That's how I formed my identity. That's how I still form my identity. I look to people who look like me. But why was my identity so linked to how I looked? And why was it so linked to my gender? And are these things connected? All I know for sure is that I am not the only person who found themselves in media.
I looked for myself in any of the Disney princesses, the pretty blonde girls that are all over the media, and especially like 10 years ago. You had the Sharpays, you had the, Maddie on Sweet Life, you had the Hannah Montanas, you had the Lizzie McGuires. They all had pretty much the same look, the same sort of sassy attitude, and I wanted to be them. We all did.
I think I kind of like saw myself partially as Ash Ketchum because Ash Ketchum like also had like dark brown, black hair, and like the whole style of Pokemon is like super anime, but like I kind of read that as like being like Asian, and I was like, oh, like Ash is like an Asian character.
I wasn't watching stuff, but I was reading constantly. So I loved to read as a kid. I loved stories. I was always looking for books with female protagonists. I always wanted to read stories about girls and women.
I watched a lot of cartoons, like Adult Swim, growing up, but I knew there was no representation of it. There's not even girls on Adult Swim characters. They would always just get like killed off or eaten, which I would laugh at and be like, that sucks. Why can't there be like a cool girl who's like the lead of the pack, you know?
Where I didn't see positive representations in the mainstream media about black people, there were black magazines, Essence or Ebony or Jet, that also were almost in every black home.
One of the things that's really interesting to me as an art historian, as someone obsessed with the visual, is that I can't remember a time that I visually identified growing up. I think it's a function of the fact that there are huge groups of women that aren't represented, that don't find themselves visually.
So yeah, I think, media certainly has an influence on young people. And also access to the arts generally, all of that, it shapes you.